Have you ever held on to a losing investment, hoping it would bounce back even when every sign said sell? Or kept pouring time, energy, and money into a project you knew was failing simply because you'd already come too far to quit? That, my friend, is commitment bias, one of the most subtle yet destructive forces in decision-making. It's the tendency to stay consistent with our past actions and beliefs even when evidence clearly shows we should change course. And here's the paradox. The same bias that drives discipline and loyalty can also lead to denial and disaster. In today's lesson, we'll explore the psychology of commitment, how it shapes our identity, traps us in losses, and how the most successful entrepreneurs and investors learn to commit to principles, not to outcomes. Commitment bias originates from our deep psychological need for consistency. In 1957, psychologist Leon Festinger introduced the concept of cognitive dissonance, the discomfort we feel when our beliefs and actions conflict. To reduce that discomfort, we often justify our past choices even when they were wrong. For example, imagine buying a crypto token, $100. The price drops to $50. Instead of selling, your brain whispers, it's just temporary. I believe in the project. You're not analyzing data anymore. You're protecting your ego. Our brain values consistency because it signals stability to ourselves and to others. Changing our mind feels like admitting failure. And in the world of business and investing, failure feels personal. But here's the irony. The most successful minds, from Warren Buffett to Jeff Bezos, don't fear inconsistency. They fear stubbornness. Commitment bias originates from our deep psychological need for consistency. One of the most common manifestations of commitment bias is this sunk cost fallacy, the urge to continue investing in something just because you've already invested too much to stop. You tell yourself, I've already put so much time into this. I've already spent too much money. But the truth is, past investments are gone. The only rational question is, does continuing make sense from this point forward? Entrepreneurs fall into this trap all the time. They double down on failing marketing campaigns, hold on to underperforming employees, or keep outdated products alive because they're emotionally attached to the effort, not the outcome. Elon Musk is a perfect example of someone who understands strategic commitment. He commits fiercely to the mission but remains flexible in the methods. When early SpaceX rockets failed 3 times in a row, most people would have quit. Musk stayed committed, but not blind. He changed engineers, processes, and suppliers and learned from every explosion. His commitment was not to launch rockets my way, it was to make humanity multiplanetary. That's the key distinction, commitment to purpose, not pride. Buffett often says, the ability to say no is more important than the ability to say yes. His philosophy is built on rational consistency, not emotional attachment. When he realizes he's wrong, he admits it fast and moves on. He once sold Tesco shares after realizing the company's management had changed its culture. Many investors held on, hoping for a rebound. Buffett didn't, because commitment to the truth is more profitable than commitment to the past. Commitment bias often teams up with other biases, especially confirmation bias and optimism bias. Once we commit to a narrative, our brain filters information to protect that commitment. You start ignoring bad news. You follow only sources that confirm your view. You build an emotional fortress around your belief until it collapses from reality. In business, this looks like a CEO refusing to pivot because we've already built this for years, a crypto investor holding a debt coin because the devs are coming back, a startup founder rejecting feedback because we've already committed to this direction. The deeper the commitment, the harder it becomes to let go. But real growth often begins after you release what no longer serves you. How to use commitment bias for growth, not destruction. Commitment isn't the enemy. It's a tool. When used with awareness, it becomes the foundation of discipline, trust, and consistency, 3 pillars of any successful business. Strategy number 1, commit to systems, not outcomes. Instead of saying, I'll make $100,000 this year, commit to the system that leads there. For example, produce 1 new client video every week. Study 1 market pattern every day. Review your portfolio every Sunday. When you focus on systems, you replace emotion with process, and success becomes inevitable. Remember James Clear's words in Atomic Habits: you don't rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems. Strategy number 2, create exit rules before you commit. Smart investors and entrepreneurs set exit criteria before they begin. For instance, if this campaign doesn't generate positive ROI after 3 months, I'll stop. If this stock drops below a key metric, I'll sell. If the project no longer aligns with my values, I'll pivot. This pre-commitment to rationality protects you from emotional attachment later. The trick is to make decisions while calm, not when you're deep in the storm. Strategy number 3, public accountability. We are social creatures. When we declare something publicly, we're more likely to follow through. This can be a double-edged sword. It can trap us in bad commitments or empower us to maintain good ones. That's why successful founders join accountability groups or report weekly progress to investors or mentors. The key is to choose the right audience. People who will challenge your blind spots, not just applaud your consistency. Building consistency without blindness commitment bias often hides inside our greatest strength, consistency. But true consistency isn't doing the same thing forever. It's showing up for the same principles, even if the tactics change. The best entrepreneurs evolve their methods while staying loyal to their mission. Amazon began as a bookstore, now it's a global tech empire, but its mission, to make life easier for customers, never changed. So ask yourself, what am I committed to, the form or the function, the ego or the impact? Building mental tools to resist commitment traps. Here are 3 practical exercises to keep your mind flexible. Exercise 1, the reverse justification. Every week, list 1 decision you've made and then write the opposite argument. Example, I'm holding this stock because I believe in its tech. Now ask, if I were forced to argue against my position, what would I say? This trains your brain to detach emotion from reasoning. Exercise 2, the 24-hour pause rule. Before making any big financial or business decision, take a 24-hour pause. During that pause, you'll notice how much of your motivation is driven by fear of inconsistency rather than rational opportunity. Exercise 3, the identity check. Write this down. Am I protecting my identity or pursuing results? Our need to be right is often stronger than our need to grow. Recognizing that difference is the beginning of maturity. How successful entrepreneurs master commitment bias? The greatest leaders understand this. They're not consistent because they never change. They're consistent because they're always aligned with their values. Bezos changed Amazon's entire structure multiple times, but never its customer obsession. Oprah shifted from talk shows to media empire, but never her mission to inspire. CZ pivoted Binance's focus repeatedly, but always stayed true to innovation and transparency. They commit to the why, not the how. Conclusion: commitment is power, but flexibility is wisdom. The commitment bias lives inside all of us. It's what makes us loyal, persistent, and disciplined, but also what blinds us to change. The art of mastery is not avoiding commitment, it's learning what to commit to. Commit to learning, not to being right. Commit to evolution, not repetition. Commit to purpose, not pride. Because in business, staying consistent is easy. Staying intelligent while consistent, that's the real game.